SMR Podcast Network. You should be listening.
What's going on, everybody? RWT family, SMR Podcast listeners. Brand new edition of the SMR News coming at you, dropping on this lovely Easter Sunday. I'm, of course, joined by the only guy willing to do the news with me, and that is Paul Morales. What's going down, Paul?
What is up, Mr. Moses Marquez?
Happy Easter to you, bro.
Happy Easter to you, to everybody. Happy Passover. Happy Ramadan, which I know is next, and Kim Possible is actually messaging me. So
that's right. Kim Possible's on the case.
Yep.
So as you can tell, because this is the SMR news, we have a plethora of news to go on today. Believe it or not, actually, the last couple of weeks, there's been no news. There's been nothing, besides WrestleMania itself, that has since come to pass. And now we're actually getting bombarded. We're not going to go as far as saying bombarded, but over the since compared to last week and I guess the week before, we got a heck of a lot more news to go into very quickly. Just to give a rundown, we'll go more into it. We're going to talk about the on-screen talent that got tested positive for the coronavirus. We're going to talk about how WWE is going to be doing these live shows. So supposedly, talking about them suspending more shows. Talk about who being released and where they may end up. Talking the Cruiserweight Interim Championship in both brackets as they've been released within the last 15 minutes. We have a little bit of update news from AEW, and then I want to talk about two things, one being Dark Side of the Ring, and the other one being a show everybody should check out. But first, the biggest news of and then of course, I don't want to leave out Ronda, but we'll get into that a little later. Right now, the biggest thing is this positive case for the COVID-19, the coronavirus. Apparently this on-screen talent has already since recovered. Now, granted, I don't know how this fucking thing works. I don't know that you go into a 14-day isolation and you really are cured. Now, I mean, I don't know. I'm not in the medical field. I'm not into any of that stuff, but very quickly I want to read this statement from the WWE. A WWE employee has tested positive for COVID-19. We believe this matter is a low risk to WWE talent and staff as an individual and a roommate becomes symptomatic in the days following the exposure to the two people working in acute health care on the evening of March 26th, after WWE's TV production on a closed set was already complete. The employee had no contact with anybody from WWE since being exposed to these two individuals. This person is doing well and is going to make a complete recovery. Fightful first reported on Saturday that an employee tested positive, referring to, and then this is coming from a internal memo. It says those of you who were potentially exposed would be cleared for travel by the evening of Thursday, April the 9th at the latest. Since the last possible exposure to any WWE talent personnel should have been within the last 14 days. So, my guess is they're kind of just blowing it by the wayside, hey, none of you fucking people are exposed, shut the hell up and get the fuck on the plane. I mean, that's what I'm getting out of that fucking internal memo. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, I don't know how, true to my words that is. All I know is, dude, is if that's how you're looking at it, you're just okay, well, you're going to be able to travel on this time. Dude, if I was potentially exposed at all, I need 14 days. Even the slightest bit. You should be taking all the goddamn precautions in the world for this. All the goddamn precautions in the world. But instead, and I really hope I'm wrong, there's a possibility that the entire fucking roster can get this. Cameraman, referee, valet, cooks, you name it. If one dude can get it, and yes, it's they did their quarantine and all that stuff, that doesn't mean that it can't just linger and then everybody gets it. And then Vince McMahon looks like the complete dumb shit for keeping this whole thing going because, it's ratings, pal. Even though the ratings are the worst ever.
Yeah, it just seems like he's trying his hardest to stay afloat. He's doing everything and anything possible to try and keep his company afloat, trying to keep it going, trying to not have any hiccups by trying to adjust to every little detail that basically the world is under right now because we're all basically in hibernation in quarantine. So I don't know. It's just Vince is trying to find his little loopholes here and there to try and get out of where he's at, to try and maneuver around every little thing to put on these shows. So I think it's cool. I think it's okay, but you know, what risk are you taking trying to put all these wrestlers, all his staff, you know, in the way? I mean, you look at AEW, which does things in a location that's, you know, closed. Well, apparently we know where the hell we know where they're at, but you know, the Performance Center could only do, you know, so much. And apparently some of the precautions that they're taking is that they're changing out the ring mat, they're changing out the ropes, they're wiping down a lot of the area on the outside to try and, you know, prevent a lot of what's going on to travel. But you're still having these interactions with wrestlers, not only the wrestlers but the announcers too, so you're kind of playing devil's advocate on whether it's going to work or not.
Agreed. You know what I mean? You're hoping for the best, and that's just putting it as best as possible. You're hoping for the best, hoping nobody else can be infected, and then continuing onward with whatever your program may be. Speaking of that program, this is a statement coming from ESPN. WWE addressed returning to live programming starting Monday, their first official acknowledgement of the move since the story broke Friday night. This statement reads, "We believe it is now more important than ever to provide people with a diversion from these hard times. We are producing content on a closed set with only essential personnel in attendance, following appropriate guidelines while taking additional precautions to ensure the health and wellness of our performers and staff. As a brand that has been woven into the fabric of society, WWE and its superstars bring families together and deliver a sense of hope, determination, and perseverance." How in the fuck is that possible? How the hell they do all that shit? Hope, I get. Determination, what the fuck are we determining? And perseverance to overcome what? Again.
Well, I get it. They're trying to put a product out there. It's like us trying to cope with everything that's going on, and then all we're doing is watching reruns or shows that have already happened, or stuff that's just basically on TV, or that are interacting with our family. I mean, granted, we take the time to. I get it. He wants to entertain us. I get it that he wants to put on these shows, but at what risk are you putting on these shows?
Right. At what risk, indeed. So,
and he's quarantining everybody. I mean, everybody's in a hotel. The only people that they have interactions with are the people that work in the hotel. So
yeah, or
it's
roommates.
or their roommates. But a lot of these people actually live close by. So you figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're taking precautions more than I'm giving them credit, so, you know what I mean? I should give them some sort of a break here. But my whole thing is I want to know how the hell they're going to do this. I mean, the thing is the state of Florida has pretty much said that unless you're an essential business, you're closed for until, I want to say, April 30th is what I'm reading here in front of me. And then to add to this whole thing, Dana White, and I know I wanted to bring this up. I don't really have a whole lot of stuff in it, but I want to bring it up just because it's so asinine. It doesn't really need to be discussed. I just want to give my rant on it very quickly. And that being the one president of the UFC, Senor Dana White, over here trying to pull the fucking Mortal Kombat move where you're going to buy your own goddamn island so you can have these fights because you're going to make so much money on these pay-per-view fights, right? Right? Because in a fucking national pandemic when people are actually waiting for the government to send them money so they can pay their bills and attempt to survive for another month while they may or may not be out of work, you want them to spend $65 or $64.99 on a goddamn pay-per-view during times like this? No, dumb shit. Now is the fucking time to start doing this stuff for free. I'm not going to pay $65 to not watch fucking Khabib and Ferguson. I mean, even for Khabib and Ferguson, I wasn't gonna fucking pay that. But I mean, at least then it gave me a reason to do so. Now, I mean, I want to say they've since pulled guys, and there's different people, you know, in them. And so that whole thing has gone on there. There was an effort to for UFC to actually try to run a show in Linmore, California, which is actually on a tribal ground. And they could get away with whatever because they necessarily don't need a commission for it. But, the governor of California has since shut them down. So like I said, Dana White I can't remember the guy's name, Shinsu or whatever, trying to pull his fucking movie. He wants to buy an island, have motherfuckers fight on a goddamn island. But because of all this, even more cancellations has come not into fruition, but have come down from the top, I should say. WWE has postponed its UK SmackDown tour, which was supposed to go pretty much through the beginning of May, and it's being pushed all the way until I want to say October. And one of them is actually has actually been moved to next year in April 30th, 2021, and that's when they go to Newcastle. But so they since postponed all of that, and they have since canceled all NXT UK tapings. So with that being said, what in the God's honest world does that mean for Walter against Finn Balor?
It pretty much means that what we're going to get is a whole lot of nothing. I mean, I don't know if they're just going to try and find a closed set, take everybody who's already there and try and maneuver in, I guess, sort of a closed set situation. I mean, there is a performance center there. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why they have yet to utilize that to, put on shows, to continue to keep putting on shows for NXT UK. It's possible.
Yeah.
But not so much impossible. But, everything that's going on there they also have a lot of stipulations and a lot of rules that they have to get around. So at this point, it just kind of looks like everything's going to be stationary for them, at least up until then.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we'll see how it goes. We'll see where WWE is able to tape, if they're able to tape anywhere. The idea for AEW is they've taped so far ahead that they have stuff till May. And I'm sure hopefully by then stuff will blow over and they can go back to just using gyms again like they've been using QT Marshall's gym. But only time will tell. So, and the reason I bring up AEW and how their whole thing is going and the whole them having so many things taped is because WWE has finally, and this is according to most people like the greatest thing that's ever happened. It was an Easter gift they never thought they would actually get, is WWE granting the revivals are immediate release. Immediate meaning there is no 90-day no compete. You're done. Thank you for your time. Get the fuck out. Is exactly how Vince put it to these guys. So that's it. The rumor's fucking out there. How soon are these guys going to sign to AEW? Because the fact of the matter is they're not going to Ring of Honor. They're not going to go to MLW. They're probably not going to go to New Japan. The only place for them to go, and I think it's beyond obvious, is AEW. So my question to you is, even though the pandemic is the biggest thing going on right now, do you think we're going to see them before July?
I think what we're going to end up seeing is a whole lot of with AEW already having in place, a programming already in place. I don't think it's gonna. I'm not quite sure on when they'll debut in AEW because I think the ball's already rolling. I have a feeling that Matt and Nick Jackson have already met with them. Cody have already met with them. They're not saying nothing. They're not going to say when they're going to appear on AEW television.
Yeah.
And, if they've already have recordings and they have stuff already in place, it's not going to be said. So as of right now, we're just kind of like, when will it happen? Because really, that's the only other game in town. So you're at that point to where you're just kind of like, okay, so we wait.
So we wait, indeed. It's all we can do. All we can do is wait and see. But I mean, now everybody's chomping at the bit. Like I said, how your AEW's teasing it. They're smart enough not to give away their game plan, but I mean, it's not like we don't already know. So only time will tell what actually happens. But now, before we continue on to some good news, we got to talk about the one thing that has legitimately hit everybody. I've seen every single person, whether you went out and you bought a hot Ronda shirt or you said you hated her from the fucking jump, everybody immediately went to the jump on, fuck off Ronda Rousey bandwagon after this lovely quote of hers from the Steve-O's Wild Ride podcast went live, and I'm going to read it quote for quote. It says, "I love WWE. I had such a great time. I love all the girls in the locker room. Like, hell yeah. Running out there, having fights for fun is just the best thing. I love choreographing. I love action. I love theater. It's live theater. It's one of the last forms of live theater, and it's so fun. But I was basically doing it part-time, and I was away from home over 200 days out of the year. Whenever I was home, it wasn't enough when I was home. I was basically just trying to recover enough to be able to get out there and do my next stint of being gone. It was just not worth it for my family because we were eliminating all of our expenses and living this lifestyle we didn't need to. We didn't need the money, so it was just like, what am I doing it for? I'm not being able to spend the time and energy on my family, but instead spending time and energy on a bunch of fucking ungrateful fans that don't even appreciate me. I love performing. I love the girls. I love being out there, but at the end of the day, I was like, fuck these fans, dude. My family loves me and they appreciate me. I want all my energy to go into them. So that was my decision at the end of the day. It's like, hey girls, love what you're doing. I'm going to try to take all my momentum and push you guys as far as I can. Fly, little birds, fly. I'm fucking going home. And that's basically it. If I ever do come back, it will never be at a full-time capacity ever again. I think like for stints or chunks of time, I will never go full-time again over 200 days a year on the road like that, never again. She immediately got a bunch of backlash. The first piece of backlash she got was from one Nia Jax, who I want to say just recently returned on either Raw or SmackDown. She said, I can't wait for Ronda to return one day to WWE, even if WWE orders Ronda to make me look good in the ring, which is the only way for Ronda to look good in the ring with me. I risk my job to go down in history as one of the best in the biz that knocked her the fuck out. Hashtag test me, bitch. And then, of course, Shayna, Ronda's former training partner, says, how dare Ronda care more about her family than pleasing fans that are never happy? And with that being said, I'm going to say this again. I'm already getting the vibe that this whole fucking thing's a work, right? Right. Here's my other thing. Ronda was pretty much taught by the guy that knew how to push the fucking envelope. He drew that line, would step over that line, erase that line, and make a new line. And that's the only, God rest his soul, Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper was a guy who made you believe. I didn't give a fuck if he was on a television show in front of millions of kids or if he was, in that whatever stupid movie he was where you had the sunglasses and you beat up zombies. He makes you feel like it's all real. That's the whole point. He wants to make you feel like it's real. Like, if I really hate the fans, I'm going to make you feel like I fucking cannot stand you. And so, at first, I'm like, you know what, dude? Fuck you, bitch. You stay the fuck home. You kiss my ass. I don't give a shit. I don't even want to fucking see you again. But, in all reality, she's working the dog shit out of us. Now, whether she actually does come back or she doesn't, I still don't care. That's my honest to God preference. Whether this is a work or this is not a work. If you got the balls enough to go on there, you call it fake fighting, knowing that you've taken the bumps, knowing that you've gotten hurt in the fucking ring, and you call it fake fighting, one, pisses me off. And then two, she brought up later on trying to I guess play things off, if you will, or play things up. She wrote this in a tweet, and I'll quote it out. Anyone who is outraged by me calling pro wrestling fake fights for fun has never been in a real fight. While you have all tiptoed around bruising some pro wrestlers' huge soft egos, no one is thinking about the real fighters you're insulting when pretending pro wrestling is somehow on the same level of realism. Yes, I understand wrestling 300 days a year, 4 years on end is incredibly tough on the body and in a difficult profession. But do you know what happens when you get into 300 real fights a year? You'd be dead. Ronda Rousey then hashtagged herself kayfabe killer. So, as I had said to you, Paul, beforehand, have you ever heard of any professional MMA superstar, and yes, MMA superstar at the Ronda Rousey level, who has fought more than 15 times in a year?
Here's what the one thing that I remember, and this is for the Mexican Aztec or Mexican warrior who is Julio Cesar Chavez. Now, he fought 15 times in a year.
A boxer.
Now, a boxer. He fought 15 times in a year. He actually fought 2 weeks. He fought 1 week. 2 weeks later, he ended up in another boxing match because the fighter that was supposed to fight actually dropped out. Now, 3 weeks later, he ended up in a scheduled fight that he had and fought again. 3 weeks later, he ended up in another fight, another scheduled fight again. And he fought 15 times, basically a couple of times a month for exactly 1 year, one calendar year. Now, is it possible? Yes. Is it impossible? Is it possible for somebody to die to it? Yes. Now, the movie, by the way, the movie you were talking about is called They Live, Roddy Piper. Rotten Tomatoes actually gave it an 86% on their rating, which, by the way, is actually a cult classic. Go watch it. It's very humorous as a John Carpenter film.
Oh yeah, I came here to chew bubble gum and kick ass.
Yeah,
I'm all out of bubble gum.
Exactly. So
I love that line.
Okay, so here I'm thinking this is part of a shoot. When it'll happen, we don't know.
I mean, a work.
But it's a shoot. It's basically the same
work.
shit.
It's a work shoot.
It's the same shit.
You're working yourself into a shoot.
Look, you can paint a turd white, it's still a turd. It doesn't matter which way you want to look at it.
I like that analogy. I like that.
You could paint a zebra brown, but it's still a zebra. It doesn't matter. It's the thing is that she's doing what she's doing, and it's hyping whatever is going to happen. Now, I don't know if this is for her and Becky down the road, SummerSlam. I don't know if this is, again, something that'll come out later on in the year. We have no idea.
Yeah.
Or maybe, quite possibly, since, I don't know, WrestleMania is here in LA next year. Maybe this is next year's WrestleMania. Again, we don't know, but I like the way it's going. Hey, if you're going to rub everybody the wrong way and you're trying to look as a heel, fine, cool. Hey, I'm happy for it.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
And you're doing a great job. And like you said, Roddy Piper, it was kind of like one of those people. Hey, I'll rub you the wrong way, but guess what? I'm honest. I shoot from the hip, and you get what I get.
And trust me, in the end, you're going to go over.
Yeah,
you're going to get more publicity because of this. That was his thing.
And even if she is a part-time wrestler, even if Ronda decides to come back and she wants to be this quote-unquote part-time wrestler, i.e. Brock Lesnar.
Brock.
Yeah. If she wants to do something like that, fine. Come back. Shoot it again. Be a part-time wrestler. Just don't give her the damn title to have to sit here and have to wait for these women to have to, to wait for the next pay-per-view or next major pay-per-view to shoot something for. Now, granted, there's more than one major title in WWE. Yes, there is. But if there is one main title on one main show, and you're going to hold it up, I don't know. I don't know exactly how that's going to work if say she goes to SmackDown and she doesn't go to face Becky on Raw.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility of, God only knows, she maybe wants to go after Charlotte, maybe be the NXT champion. Maybe the idea is for her and Shayna to team up or go against each other. We don't know just yet. But the idea is this is building towards down the line. I will say another big rumor I'm hearing is she's announcing to the world she's pregnant.
That could be, that's a possibility, man. We don't know.
I mean, I do know that was the number one reason she left. Yes, it was about family. She wanted to have kids. It was about family.
Hey, if she's pregnant, hey, congratulations if she is. But hey, but not the way you want to rub people around. But I'm gonna say if it leaves the door open, it leaves the door open for her to come back. So if this is, again, back to it being a shoot, back to it being storyline, even though Meltzer and everybody over there at Pro Wrestling, she like to say, oh, it's not. She's legit pissed off and she's legit not coming back. Whatever.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar was not supposed to come back. Guess what? He did.
Yeah, he came back for the money,
And he came back.
I mean, granted, he came back for the money. I think Ronda deep down knows that her return to MMA is not even the thought in the mind. And I think that she really does kind of love this, and she loves the girls, and I think that that's more where her commitment lies, is with the girls rather than the product itself.
Yeah, because you look at everything on what the hell, fucking Total Divas.
Yeah.
And the way she had such camaraderie with a lot of the girls, that's as not fake as a lot of it is. It's still, again, I think she made a lot of good friends. Natalia being one.
For sure. Best friend, even.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. If it's a work, hey, we're the one that's being bamboozled.
Right? We're falling for it hook, line, and sinker.
Yep, exactly.
Well, I mean, since we had talked about the possibility of her being pregnant, there is another WWE superstar who may become a new daddy, and that would be the one Finn Balor. He is kind of hinting that his, I want to say his wife is pregnant. I don't remember her name off the top of my head. She is an announcer for Fox Sports Deportes. So, I mean, if that's true and he's going to become a dad, like, hey, fucking congratulations, dude. I could not imagine a better dad than Finn Balor. That's not true. Kevin Owens would be his badass dad. I would rather be like that. I'd be Kevin Owens' stepson. That'd be cool. He'd probably try to put me through a ladder, though, so I don't know. But I'm with it. Yep. So let's get into something great. I mean, the downside about this whole pandemic is the travel issue is a big deal. Like I said, we had the UK tapings being canceled and stuff being postponed. So with that being said, Jordan Devlin is our current NXT Cruiserweight Champion, or WWE Cruiserweight Champion, excuse me. And he is not he's not able to make the trip over due to said travel bans. So because of that, they want to crown an interim champion. Some people are already got a bad taste in their mouth because it's the word interim. But if you think about it, this is a good thing to do. And on top of that, it gives you a fucking reason to have a tournament. And the tournament is unlike any traditional tournament that WWE actually likes to do. They're finally listening to a lot of people, and they're kind of taking a page out of the G1 book, because we have two groups of guys who will face each other in what looks to be a round-robin tournament. Like, they go against each other twice, and the guy with the most points will advance. The winner of... or no, not twice, excuse me. They're going to face everybody. Whoever has the most points at the end of this will go on. Winner of Group A and Group B will go on to face each other. The winner of that is crowned the new interim champion. So, to get into these groups, Group A, we have Tony Nese, a former Cruiserweight champion in his own right. We have Drake Maverick. Drake Maverick, to me, is a giant question mark, because the fact of the matter is we've seen this guy as a valet, we've seen him as a general manager, all this stuff, and now all of a sudden he may or may not actually be an in-ring competitor again. So, I mean, if he's in it, great, good for him. It's time that he can get in the ring and, show people he actually knows how to work. Or maybe he's going to end up being like a valet for another guy he can bring in, which I would much rather that. Then we get told Kushida is going to be in this, which I think is fantastic considering the fact that this is a great way to finally use him in a proper manner. And then we have the not debuting, but I guess emerging guy, the newerly signed Jake Atlas out of Santino Brothers Professional Wrestling School in the lovely LA. So that's Group A. Anybody in Group A you take away from? How do you feel on the Drake Maverick thing? And is Kushida like a lock to win this?
I want to say it's this is going to be a very interesting thing, and I like the round robin formula from the G1. You know, to where I don't know how many I guess it's you face everybody that's in the bracket, right?
Yeah, you're going to face everybody in your group. So you'll get three matches per. So you get everybody will get 3 matches against everybody.
Yeah. So I figured if anything, it's going to be interesting. So I'm going to say that I guess out of 3 matches, I mean, that's really what you're really going to base it on.
I don't think it's going to be 3 matches. I think it's going to be 3 matches per dude.
Okay, so 9 matches. So basically 9 matches for each individual.
I'm thinking this thing is going to go for a while. Yeah, because we all know how long G1 goes. I want to say G1 is 28 straight days, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, if that's the case, then you're gonna have them you're gonna have them run on each show. So
absolutely.
You may actually have them run on either 205 Live or.
I really hope they don't do that. I think now is the perfect opportunity where you can do this tournament on NXT TV, and it's something that can keep the fans enthused. If you take this to 205 Live, or you make me have to go look on the fucking network for it, I'm not going to want to watch it. Now, if you take this whole thing out and you start like a brand new Cruiserweight Classic, that's a different ballgame. But all you're telling me is this: you're doing a tournament. Make this NXT. Make your fucking tournament all about NXT right now, as like filler matches in between whatever these takeover matches are, because we know there's not a month worth of takeover matches left to go. You know what I mean? We've maybe got like a couple. We have the women's title, the tag team title, and then the title, the actual world title, and Adam Cole and Velveteen. And my whole thing is on the tag. How's the tag going to work if Pete Dunne can't get over? Are we going to do a tag team tournament too?
Okay. So that was another thing I was actually going to bring up too. Was how are they going to do this? Because Pete Dunne was actually supposed to be moving back here to the U.S. and he was supposed to have found a house in Florida, but apparently that hasn't happened. So he's stuck over there in the U.K.
Yeah,
along with pretty much everybody else. And I don't know, and like Robert Roode, and there's quite a few, and even Morrow's stuck in Canada too. So which is why he hasn't been doing NXT shows.
Well, he did do last night's for the first hour, but he was pretty much like using like a recording device. It was after the fact.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
I mean, we'll see. But like I said, who do you got as a lock for? Who do you think is your standout star for A before I get into these B?
I'm gonna go with you and say Kushida.
I feel like he's kind of like
Tony Nese is pretty much a former champion. Tony Nese is pretty much a former champion. I mean, I don't want to rule out Drake Maverick, but of course, then again, I haven't seen him in the ring in a while, so
yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So then we get into Group B, and Group B has one big name that we're glad to finally see him make his, NXT television debut when he finally does so. He's been doing house shows, and that man is currently, some may know him as King Cuerno, others may know him as El Hilo del Fantasma, and we're going to know him as Jorge Bali, as that is his new name that he has been working under in house shows. So he's debuting. We have another former Cruiserweight champion in Akira Tozawa. I want to say Jack Gallagher was possibly even a cruiserweight champion in his own right as well, but I don't think he was. I think he was constantly competing for it. And then we have a man who I think could probably be the easy go-on favorite, but I mean, you do have a debuting guy, but the guy I'm already kind of leaning towards is the one Swerve Scott.
I'm not gonna deny that Swerve has the possibility of winning this whole thing, but if El Hijo does do El Hijo, he's going to be. Of course, they haven't changed his name on this thing.
According to the house shows, his name is Jorge Bali when he goes to house shows.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that if they have it on here and that's what they're going to call him, then that's what they're going to call him. I think if they were going to change his name and he was going to wrestle under another name, then he wouldn't be called. He would have already been called it. They wouldn't have listed him. They wouldn't have listed him under another name, especially like Jake Atlas. Jake Atlas is already under another name or his name. So
yeah, but I think Jake was one of those guys where you trademarked his own name.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I mean, Swerve Scott's a guy we're looking into. El Hilo is another guy worth looking into, but then you can't deny, Akira Tozawa and Jack Gallagher, both guys looking great. Granted, Jack Gallagher is looking a whole of a lot different of a guy. You know what I mean? Since he's coming out and all tatted up, trying to look like a badass.
I think the tattoos actually fit him well.
It just throws me off.
I think people were just kind of a little thrown off, and I was going to say that too. We're kind of thrown off by the fact and taken back at the fact that he actually had those on him. But hey, it is what it is.
Right. Agreed. So let's get a little AEW stuff going. We're going to get a debuting superstar. His name is Sugar Dunkerton, or I forgot what the hell somebody had made fun of the dude, called him Pistol Pete or whatever the fuck. Called him something. He was sitting in the crowd last week, but Sammy Guevara will take on Sugar Dunkerton next week or this coming Wednesday on AEW Dynamite. We're going to get there should be another one of the quarterfinal matches. I want to say it doesn't have me listed just here. The only two here we go. Yeah, the qualifying Lance Archer, Colt Cabana. He's going to have that match. We're told that Britt Baker will be in singles action, and then of course the main event for Wednesday night show is the no DQ empty arena match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Jon Moxley taking on Jake Hager, which by the way, this thing has been built fucking superbly. We're going to get Tony Schiavone and Chris Jericho again on commentary, and for that I say thank God. And Jim Ross will join the set for the call of the for the call of the championship match. My guess is he's going to be doing it from his home studio. Any thoughts on AEW?
They're going to have a little cutout of JR at the table.
It's just like back in the day where fucking JR lost and he had to have his own little table doing commentary, and it just fucking showed how bad Michael Cole sucked. I remember that. I remember that so vividly right now in his own little fucking desk, and JR's the best. Cubicle. Oh, it's awesome. Anyway, so any thoughts on AEW Wednesday before we get into Dark Side of the Ring?
No, it's going to be interesting with the whole TNT championship tournament, especially Colt Cabana. Yeah. I think Lance Archer's going to beat him, but hey, we never know with Colt.
Right, we do never know with Colt.
I really want to see that damn championship match. I haven't seen.
I want to see what this belt looks like. I want to see what this TNT belt's going to look like. That's what I'm worried about. And yeah, I'm dying for this main event too.
They haven't even showed it yet.
Nope, there's nothing yet. I haven't even seen concepts.
Okay,
so
I'm pretty sure it has. It would be very interesting to have the TNT logo on it up at the top. So. Yeah. Along with the AEW, maybe next to the, I don't know.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Right.
Maybe it'll be like the old NXT belt and it just says TNT. Who knows? Anyway, so I want to get into Dark Side of the Ring. It's something I've been praising to people to go check out and see. I finally got viewing numbers for it. It's not like the greatest thing you've ever seen on TV. This thing's not producing, millions and millions and millions of viewers a night.
And millions
of the viewers listening. But there is a plethora. I mean, they do get a fair amount of views. So I'm going to quickly just kind of go through it. Season 1, the best episode for Season 1 was the Von Erich story. That actually got 234,000 viewers. And the one that followed up next to it was actually Gino Hernandez. And then the third best was Bruiser Brody. Believe it or not, the screw job was actually the second worst viewing of them all. Fabulous Moolah beat out both the Montreal screw job and Macho Man Miss Elizabeth's story. That was all Season 1. Very quick, I'll go through the numbers. 154,000 for Macho Man and Elizabeth, 181,000 for the Montreal screw job, 214,000 for Bruiser Brody, 225,000 for Gino Hernandez, and 200,000 for the Fabulous Moolah. Season 2, for the 2-part episode, the most viewed show in the Dark Side of the Ring history is the Chris Benoit story, the only one to reach 300,000 viewers, 320,000 to be exact. It was actually 0.14 in the ratings of 18 to 49, which is the highest out of the show in any way. New Jack kept a rating similar. They were at 0.11 for 18 to 49, but they did hit 229 overall viewers, and they only dropped 3,000 viewers for last week's episode of Brawl for All. Which, by the way, I checked out Brawl for All. I'm going to be honest with you. I know a lot of the actual story that happened with Brawl for All, and I love Dark Side of the Ring, but this was, I think, one of their attempts to try to help stir the Russo-Cornette pot. Because they're out making it out to be, oh, this loser did this and this loser. The reality of the matter was Vincent McMahon cleared this. He saw the height of, the Attitude Era. He saw the popularity rising in fucking MMA. He approached guys like Ken Shamrock. The idea of Brawl for All was for Ken Shamrock to win. It was not for Dr. Dev Steve Williams. It was for Ken Shamrock, but he told them, I'm not going to fucking do that. Are you stupid? And he was the only one to say so. Granted, Dan Severn, a fucking former UFC champion in his own right, went in, got hurt in the first fucking thing. Like, he didn't get knocked out or anything, but he had boring fights and they didn't want him to come back. That's why. He didn't quit. They told him, don't come back. We don't want you coming in here just taking these dudes down. We want to see these guys actually fight. And so that's why they got him out of there. The idea that Butterbean was a punishment for Bart Gunn? No. Vince McMahon thought, this guy's a fucking joke. Bart Gunn's been knocking out all these big tough dudes left and right. He's going to knock out Butterbean. Problem is, Bart Gunn goes in there trying to box Butterbean. A big giant dude who's got the size, the speed, probably not the stamina, but the size and the speed more than Butterbean. Tries to go in there and actually box this guy. He's horrible. I can already see shots I could take on fucking Bart Gunn. He's just leaving himself wide open. And even Butterbean himself says when he's even more blown up than he was back then in his fucking current thing, if he would have brawled with me, he would have had a better chance. And he didn't. So instead he got embarrassed. And this entire thing looked terrible. Jim Ross's exact words was, this was a terrible idea. Nobody got over. And that's exactly what happened. Nobody got over. A lot of people got hurt. And it kind of just was what it fucking was. You know what I mean? So it did not make Bart Gunn a star, as we were all hoping. Or at least as WWE was hoping. Butterbean didn't get any more publicity or any less publicity because of this. Dr. Death Steve Williams later on had no WWF career because he ended up tearing his hamstring and then having another issue and then eventually, I want to say, died of cancer if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So it's, and the thing I loved about it is you had the Godfather. He's all, man, every time I go in there to fight, man, I was fucking stoned, man. I would just hang out in the back and just smoke weed, man. That's all he fucking kept saying all goddamn show. He didn't give a fuck if he could fight motherfuckers. I was high as a motherfucker, man. That's all he cared about. That's all he had to say. The whole fucking show.
Exactly.
Bart Gunn is like, he's like, oh, I have a regular job now. He lives in like an apartment that looks like mine. And I'm like, dude, you were on top of the world at one point. You know what I mean? You were a part of one of the better tag teams of the fucking mid-90s. And this is where you ended up because of this BS. You know what I mean? Oh,
Yeah,
it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's one of those shows that you just gotta watch. Even though that they didn't get the ratings that they wanted to, or the ratings that they expected for this one, go watch the whole series. Even watch season 1. Season 1 was really good, so just go watch it.
More stuff is going to be coming. I don't remember what episode 4 is. Oh, no, episode 4 is going to be Jimmy Snuka. So a lot of people want to know about the Jimmy Snuka, him possibly murdering his girlfriend or wife or something like that, which is actually relatively recent. I want to say all that went down around 2012, 2013-ish. Actually, no, a little bit after that, like 14, 15, but relatively recent. Yeah. So there was one other thing we wanted to talk about. I think it was the Big Show and all the cool stuff WWE's been doing on Netflix, because we have the Big Show, which is actually pretty damn funny. And then I'm being told by one of our members that help us out, you know, the guy that does Mowing the Dead Man and the AEW show, Travis the Walker Anderson, saying that we should also watch Main Event, which apparently has a lot of WWE superstars in it, including Heavy Machinery, The Miz, and I guess Keith Lee.
Yeah, it also has his soon-to-be wife, Mia Yim. It has a bunch of stars there, and it's funny because he's actually going through NXT right now. Mm-hmm. Or if you watch it, it's funny. It's really good. I just started watching it actually yesterday, or mm-hmm. No, yesterday, Friday I started watching.
Well, there you go. Like I said, all stuff to watch, all kinds of stuff on Netflix and Hulu, and we're on quarantine, so look for stuff to watch. I know Beyond the Mat is on Netflix right now. A lot of people have not seen Beyond the Mat, and it is definitely one real-life look at professional wrestling, and you should check it out. So
yes.
So with all that being said, we're going to get out of here. We got to turn around and do a fucking retro show, so let's get some plugs out before we get going.
And, of course, as always, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter under the same name, RWT_Deadman. If you find anything interesting, of course, you can either send it to me or tag me in it, and I promise you I will share it with everybody on my stories, and I promise I will retweet it on Twitter with everybody else. And Mr. Moses Marquez, you may take us home, sir.
Thank you, boss man. I appreciate you. Make sure you're following us on all platforms of social media, SMR Podnet, everywhere you can. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Anchor.fm, and SoundCloud.com/SmartMarkRadio. Anchor.fm/SMR Podnet, by the way, are the two easiest places for you to get all your favorite SMR podcasts, podcast network episodes that are actually podcasts. The YouTube page, which you can get to, linktr.ee/SmartMarkRadio, is the number one link on top. The very top link is the link to our YouTube. If you go there, you're going to start to notice a lot more stuff going on. We're going to be redoing all pay-per-view retro rewinds are going to go up there on video form. We're going to try to add some stuff to it. We do have some thing that's completely out of the box, a little thing called Quarantine Cookout. I've been doing this thing where I take some of the recipes that I've learned over my years of cooking and I adapt them my way and I show you guys. I mean, I'm not the greatest cook in the world, but I do show you that a lot of these things some of us think are hard to cook are really not all that hard. So there's some up there. You should check that out. There's going to be some gameplay, video game gameplay. I know, oh my God, what in the hell is the world coming to? I have some retro games I've been playing, mainly WCW NWO Revenge. I'm going to make a video on my journey of conquering every title there is in that game. The first video that goes up is going to be me conquering the television championship with the one, the only, Dogface Gremlin, Rick Steiner. I'm going to be winning the tag team championships with probably my favorite tag team of all time in WCW, and that being the only team that has their titties out, Harlem Heat. I'm going to win the U.S. Championship with a man that a lot of people are not very happy with the fact that I'm using, and that's going to be the total package Lex Luger. And then the man they call Sting will be my character as I go for the world title. I'm going to go old school Sting, by the way. You can actually change it where you can go back to the blonde hair green jacket, a highlighted color face paint. Not red and black, not white and black. Old school Sting will be World Heavyweight Champion. So,
all right.
All that stuff goes on there. Also, you got to check out the After Dark show. We just got it edited. It's going to go up on a Monday morning. I got told don't do it on Mondays. There's other stuff going on. Look, there's a reason you're going to want to check this out on a Monday, okay? Trust me. If it all goes well, we're actually probably going to end up doing the 420 episode. So we don't know just yet. All things will be on the Twitter, on the Facebook, on the Instagram. You just got to check it out. Stay informed. Stay in tuned. And when we drop information, you will get it ASAP. Make sure you're following us everywhere. Make sure you hit the follow button, the subscribe button, all that jazz. And with that being said, we're going to get out of here because, again, retro time comes. Remember, the next retro pay-per-view we do is going to be Bash at the Beach 1996, where the third man of the Outsiders is revealed. Trav will be with us on that one. But anyway, with all that being said, we'll catch y'all round the bend. Peace out.
Peace out, people. Deadman out.
SMR Podcast Network. You should be listening.